What's up, gamer girls? It's me, Banana. Skyblock is still in maintenance, but we got the patch notes for the new version 0.14 update that is releasing. This isn't a super major update in and of itself, but the implications of it and a bunch of the other things that we got today are huge for the future of Skyblock. So we're going to look over these patch notes together. I'm not going to be in game at all because legit can't play Skyblock still, but let's just check it out. This is a very technical update. They said they're gonna enter a phase of making the impossible happen. So here's a few modest improvements to the Skyblock hub and the game, and the future is down at the bottom on what they plan to do. So Bazaar, enchantments, modifiers, essence, so much stuff is in the Bazaar now. There's a search function, and this is super duper swag in general. Enchantments being added to the Bazaar is huge. It's going to help for the next thing, which is the Hexatorum, and it's so nice. It makes the price of things work. It just makes everything much better. No more freaking market manipulation on the auction house with the expensive enchants. No more trying to search for 512 different ferocious mana books on the auction house. Now you can just buy them on the Bazaar. So that's a nice change. Next change, the Hex. This is something I made a video about when it came to the alpha, but this is just going to be a spot where you can make your item as max as possible. You can see this is just a picture right here. Upgrade your Livid Dagger, and you can see all of the possible buffs that you can apply to it are sitting right there. And it's just very, very easy to buy and apply to things. This is going to have a museum requirement, but if you have the requirement, you can find the Hex and the Handler in the hub over by where people would call the Guild House. That's where the Hex is going to be. It's going to be that table right there, and you're just going to be able to upgrade items super nice with it. Carpentry is no longer a VIP skill. Everyone gets the same amount of Carpentry XP rate now, and Carpentry is going to unlock new content in the future. It gives health now. It didn't used to give health. It's just a nice change. Carpentry is not super bad to grind. If I had to recommend one thing to people, it's make gemstone gauntlets or just craft your gemstones manually whenever you're gemstone mining, because this is just a nice change. The new RNG meter is out. There is the Catacombs one, and it is the version of the RNG meter that I mentioned yesterday. So you can see it's getting added to Catacombs Floor 1 to Master Mode 7. S+ runs or defeating Slayer bosses will start accumulating your XP in the meter. You can choose any RNG drop and start working towards it. As you progress, you're going to gain increased odds of dropping it. If you do drop it before the meter's full, it's going to reset. Otherwise, you get the item at 100% completion. This is just a nice change. Finding another rare drop isn't resetting your meter anymore. It's just a solid way to guarantee yourself some drops and get better odds at those drops if you don't reach the guaranteed threshold, which I doubt a lot of people will, because you get that insane boost to the drop rate. Along with this, the RNG meter from Slayer is keeping the current progress, and the Catacombs meter, you gain a tiny bit of XP, but the ratio is super low because they don't want people with 10,000 floor 7 runs to just inflate the economy with infinite handles because they've completed so many runs in the past. It kind of sucks for people who did it in the past, but I completely understand why they did that change. Stats breakdown menu. This is something that Minikloon made a video about, and I slightly mentioned in my Hexatorum video. This is just a way to see where all of your stats are coming from, and it's just spreading out a bunch of different stats. There's new stats. Wisdom is going to tell you how much XP gain you get. Fishing speed is a new stat. Health regen. Vitality, which is your incoming healing. Mending, which is your outgoing healing. These are all new stats that got added, and they're in the menu. The menu is super thorough and great. I'm going to link Minikloon's video. He says it's objectively mediocre, but it's a very interesting, nice system where you can just see exactly where all of your stuff is coming from. Next up, Shen's Auction is coming out. It's not currently going to be opened. They're going to update it when it's ready to go, but Shen's Auction is just going to have a bunch of dark auction style things that last a full Skyblock year, which, if you didn't know, is about 5 days. And there's going to be the new talismans that we've seen already, the Artifact of Control, the Pandora's Box, and the Shen's Regalia. And then there's going to be stuff from his personal collection for the richest players. Those are going to be the ones that are only available at a very high museum rank. There's also the Shen's Regalia items whenever you buy this and go to the new special shop with new enchants and cosmetics. But this is something that I've already made a video on, so I'm not going to go super in-depth on what's going on with this. Just know you need big boy money to buy anything from Shen's Auction whenever it does come out, because it is very, very expensive, and there's only a limited amount of each item sold each year. Now for something that is very important, but most people, including myself, probably won't understand the ramifications of this. They've done a lot of back-end changes to the game. They've done a refactor rewrite of many systems in the game. The goal is to increase the rate at which they can ship updates. They upgraded Java runtime from 8 to 17. They moved a lot of stuff from code to JSON data. The objective system was revamped, unified requirement system, custom mob system, feature toggling system, accessory stacking, parkour race system, the Bazaar's client side, what's on the game server. All of this got rewritten, and they said that a dev blog post is going to come soon, and it's going to say exactly what the JSON data changes and what it means for the game's future. Anything that gets us faster updates is awesome, so I'm super down for this. Now for something that I actually do understand and am going to just go over in more of a rapid fire thing, balancing changes. There was some balancing on existing content. Protection got buffed. It's now just a little better. Flame isn't terrible. It does a percentage of your damage now like Fire Aspect. Rend is going to deal true damage now. Combo is going to increase your damage by a percentage for every kill now, instead of just giving you a little bit of strength and crit damage, so it's not just terrible. Swarm is also going to give you a percentage of damage per nearby mob. It's going to be higher than combo. It's probably going to end up being better than combo in a lot of situations, but only time will tell on that. Bank is a little bit better because it's going to give you 2.5 more coins whenever you kill enemies. I don't think it's going to be that great, but maybe if you're using it on a set where you don't have any other ultimate enchants, it could add up in the long run. Enderman Slayer got a bunch of nerfs to the damage bonus on the weapons, the Final Destination armor bonus, the attack speed, everything from that got nerfed, but the boss's health also got nerfed. You can see even at the max tier, it went from 300 million health to 210 million health on the tier 4. I think that this is nice because, one, it future-proofs it, so if they ever want to add a tier 5 in 2057, whenever they get that update out, it's gonna be a little bit easier to add not an insane health mob, and hopefully this makes it a little bit more accessible to people who haven't done the Slayer and aren't super late game. I'm not really sure though, because nerfing the damage bonus and nerfing the health kind of feels like it's just breaking even and just ending up being a little bit lower health, little bit lower damage boss. A bunch of pets got changed. The majority of these are just like make something additive or add a cap to something, but something that's really good is the Scatha got a new legendary perk where you're going to gain 20% more gemstone powder from all sources. This is additive with the Hodum powder perk. That just means more powder. It's going to be nice. It's going to increase your powder gains and make your time grinding that a little bit easier. Phoenix also got a cooldown reduction on its Rekindle perk, which is the one that respawns you from 3 minutes to 1 minute, so 2 minutes less time on the cooldown there. It's still not going to be a good pet because the rest of its perks are still just done by the booster cookie, but that happened. The rest of these I really don't feel like going into because they're not huge changes. Like Flying Fish now has the new fishing speed stat instead of its other perk, and Endermite is still bad. Looking at some miscellaneous changes, Mithril got a lower NPC price. It went from 10 to 8, so Mithril mining is going to be a little bit less profitable. And the combat XP from all wolves everywhere got buffed, meaning that Sven Slayer is going to be a tiny bit less of a pain. I still think there's not enough wolves in any area compared to something like the Spider's Den with the spiders or the Sepulture with the Enderman, but it's still going to be a bit faster to do your Enderman Slayer, and that's solid. Now for the stuff that is exciting. Future updates. We always love when they talk about future updates, but these ones are actually kind of sick. Coming soon, but in no specific order, there is the End Island QOL update, there is the Kudra revamp, the Garden update part 1, which if you don't remember what the garden is, it is a private farming island, so you don't have to build a bunch of ugly farms on your island, Skyblock levels part 1, and new bits items. All of these are coming pretty soon, but in no specific order. Happening moderately soon, the Wizard Portal, Garden update part 2, and a Skyblock levels follow-up, and happening in a little while, Foraging update. We all love to see it. Foraging on top. Best skill already. Getting an update. It's going to be amazing. So that is all from the patch notes that we got. It is a lot of stuff, mainly just technical stuff and a bunch of balancing. But the technical stuff, meaning that we could get faster updates, is literally the best thing I've ever heard in my life. They could have released literally nothing but the back-end changes, and this would still be the greatest patch of all time, so long as they actually follow through with faster updates, making some of their spaghetti code less spaghetti and more of a well-oiled machine is something that is super exciting to me, and I just want to see how this actually affects our update schedule in the future. But as I said earlier in the video, there was stuff that we got that wasn't in the patch notes, and that comes from the API. The API got a lot of new items added today, and the vast majority of these items do not currently exist in the game, and it was said, we're not getting any of this today. It's just going to be the stuff that has been tested on alpha. But all of this stuff seemingly is for the Wizard Portal update, because the Wizard Portal has mentioned the Rift. One of the NPCs mentioned that Barry is looking for books pertaining to the Cataclysm and the Rift, and all of these new items have something to do with Rift time, Rift damage, and just a bunch of new things that don't currently exist. So let's look at a bunch of this stuff. For one, new cloak. We got new necklaces that increase your rift time. We got a new belt that increases your rift time. All of this time stuff really makes it seem like the Wizard Portal is something where you go in, you have X amount of time to go and get new materials, new things, and once you get those things, you're out. You got to get kicked out. You're done. And getting the better stuff, getting the better belts or things that are going to give you more time allows you to get these new materials just a little bit more effectively. There's also new kinds of items called mirrored items. You can see the iron chest plate is spelled backwards and it gives you more rift time. There's also wild chain armor. There's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go over every single item in here because it's really difficult to speculate on what's going on with this, because there's no explanation for a lot of these. Like key to infested house soul. Hold this item in your inventory to use the soul in the infested house, and the actual name of the item is key to cat soul. So I don't know what is truly going on with this, but you can see it's a lot of new systems and new stuff. You can also see that these items sell for motes instead of coins. I believe that this is just going to be a new currency to buy things from the wizard or whatever NPC is actually helping you with the Wizard Portal. But what the heck is going on here? The one hope for me right now is maybe the Wizard Portal is like a roguelite. If you don't know what that is, you probably haven't played an insane amount of video games, but imagine like a Risk of Rain style thing where you go into the Wizard Portal and you just have to fight through a bunch of bosses and enemies in there to get the materials. But once you're done with your run in there, you don't have the stuff that you had before, other than the things that are rift transferable, which is some of the items. Let me find one that has it written in here. See, doubloon of the family, rift transferable, true. So maybe you keep this when you're done with your run, and the next run that you go in, you can use your doubloon of the family to do whatever is going on there. One very interesting thing, I gotta say very because it's very interesting, is this helmet, the retro encabulating visor. This rarity is mythic, and what that means is divine armor, because when you recombobulate mythic, it becomes divine. And this is the only base mythic item in here. It would be the second base mythic item in the game after the Divin's Drill, and that's nuts. That's insane to hear. Like, what? So yeah, I'm not going to speculate too hard about this, but it is here. There is a lot of stuff in API, and I'm hyped for it. So that's it for my overview of Skyblock version 0.14. It's a very technical update. There's not an insane amount of content in it, but it should lead to more content and better content in the future, which is all any Skyblock player can really ask for. If they follow through on making faster updates and we get things in like less than 9 months of time work on an update, looking at you, Crimson Isle, then we're going to be eaten well as Hypixel Skyblock players. Let me know what you guys think about anything in this update down below in the comments. This is definitely just a lot of things to talk about, so I'm sure my comments are just going to be filled with a bunch of different conversations, but Wizard Portal and Foraging update are coming moderately soon or in a little while. Let's go, baby. That's going to be it for the video. Hope I kept you informed, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace out.